tonight on LFG.
All the damn work I put in with you.
LuFisto.
What can you do with this person who's new so they look good, you look good, and everybody's safe?
Might as well put him in a black leather jacket and a black hat.
Jeff Lippman.
It looked like she was too slow for school, but she came out playing the hot mean girl.
That looked really good.
Welcome to our review of episode 6 LFG. Boil them, fry them, put them in the stew like potatoes. And this week, it's all about change. Get out of your comfort zone. And this week, also, always, I'm with my friend, your buddy, your favorite lawyer, Mr. Jeff Dos Evil. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you? How's your week?
I'm tired. I'm so tired, but it's okay. I apologize if you hear me yawn. Little sleep problems here and there, but I'm good. I've watched this episode. This episode was quite... I like this episode, actually. It went by fast, and there's a few things that kind of bothered me, but we'll get to it at the end of this. Like I said, this week it's all about comfort zone. So the stars of the week are our friend Blowjob, the Paperboy BJ. We have also Chris Island, Panina, Haze, Dani, and Summer Sorrell. These are the people that are featured this week. And we, again, might talk about it right now. What happened again with our friend Mrs. Dumas? I have no idea. That's the problem, I think, right now with LFG. There's no continuity. I don't know what happened. Like, if I look at number 5, then number 6 is completely different. I still don't know what happened at the end of episode number 4. And I'm like, okay, when are they gonna go back to this? They leave us on a cliffhanger, and still 2 episodes later, we have no answers.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, this is episode 6. And yeah, I had with 4 asterisks, any word on Tatiana, question mark, question mark, question mark. And, I'm not particularly invested in Tatiana, but I am invested in this because I want to know more about this injury. I want to know, more if more comes out about it. I want to know if it was somebody's fault. The show continuity, but it's not just that. I mean, that's the big thing. That's the giant hole. But what I had assumed is that while they had the full roster of contestants, that we would basically alternate weeks where we saw each one. And that's not the case. There's been like 2 or 3 weeks without Harlem Lewis. There's been like 2 or 3 weeks without Xena doing anything. Obviously, Tatiana not being there changes the dimensions of things, but they certainly don't care because I'm pretty sure that we've seen Panina and Dani 3 weeks in a row and probably some others. So, nothing against the contestants themselves. This is about how the show is cut up and what they decide to put together and put out there. Now, I don't know the reasons for it, the production reasons for it. Maybe it's because of where they've advanced. These folks are very different on their learning tree. We learned last year that Drake Morreau had been in the PC for 2 years before he got onto LFG. So now he's probably there 2.5 years, for season 2 of LFG, which is much different than, we've learned that some of the people were there, I think, 5 months. And I think that at a certain point, someone was there 1 month. So, yeah, but I have but I mean, listen, Sean and everyone, like you pointed out, it's for the future greats to step outside of their comfort zones, which seems a lot like the same challenge spoken differently 3 weeks in a row to me. There's little nuanced differences in the execution, which is important, but they're making it seem like these are big changes. And again, for show continuity, I put some of the other challenges in between so that it didn't seem like 1 week you reverse being a face and a heel, 1 week you reverse doing whatever they said to themselves, like doing something completely different, and then one doing something that doesn't come natural. I mean, only one of them had like an actual distinct idea or instruction what to do, but they were all sort of the same.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, they kind of work it a little bit differently. sometimes they talk about how intense the person is, and then a babyface or heel. This more is it's. I guess this episode's more of a melting pot of all these things together. Like they asked BJ to be the old school firing babyface. They want Chris Island to be mean and nasty. Ina's now a babyface, and she's not P nasty anymore. She's P nicely. Or nicety or something.
Nicety.
I thought it was kind of clever. Yeah, I thought. And they want Ace to be a very like nasty, cheating heel. They want Dani wearing a lucha match to be a luchador. And when it comes to Summer, it's completely different. Like it's not even character oriented. They want her to cut a promo because apparently that's what she's struggling with. She's not comfortable cutting promos. But you see, it's all about pretty much character besides Summer. So that kind of like, I was like, why? Like it felt like it was different from everybody else. I understand that it's the comfort zone aspect, but basically, like it's exactly like you said. Like they were talking about babyface heel switching, like was it last episode or the other one? And then it's kind of the same thing again. So yeah, so that's what they're working on. And yeah, I didn't get the promo thing.
Yeah, I thought that was a big cop out. Like promos usually are their own thing altogether, and maybe Michelle McCool letting her do that is a sign as to why her team's in last place. I don't know. Maybe I'm just picking on her because I prefer Mickie James, but you know what? I tend to start with the negative because that's just me. Negative Norman. That's what my mother called me as a kid. Negative Norman. So this is nothing new.
Say the bad news to bring the good news.
Exactly. I do want to point out, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought that this was a great episode. While there were these gaping holes and things like that from continuity, I thought the episode itself was entertaining as hell. And I thought all the matches were fun for the most part. And I thought some of the people absolutely killed it. So, before we rolled into it, I did want to let people know, because everyone's like, all they're going to do is bitch and complain. Well, no, that's not.
No. We got some good stuff. Actually, some very good things that just before we get to the matches that I thought were very interesting to hear. Booker T says,
Body language is going to tell me a whole lot tonight. You from a babyface, you from a heel. Body language is going to tell me everything.
And that's something as a wrestler that you need to tell yourself constantly. You can complain as a heel, whatever, but if your body doesn't scream, I'm a heel, I'm mean, I don't want you to like me, there's a problem. Same thing for the babyface. People have to feel that you'll never give up, they always talk about fire. That's the most important thing from a babyface, for a babyface to stand down. You gotta also work, you must get the pity from the crowd. They must cheer for you. They must like be behind you for you to get up and fight back. So you gotta, like, look at me. I'm dying. Please help me. And they will get behind you. And something else that I really like that Bubba said.
I still think your comfort zone for you is reserved and quiet. And that's the last thing that I want to see from you today. As of right now, you're still Evander Holyfield's son.
But that ain't what I'm trying to be.
After tonight's over, I want everybody to know who the hell Elijah Holyfield is. It wasn't so much about doing the opposite of what you're comfortable with. I want to see more of what you're uncomfortable with. I want tonight to be the night that everybody is forced to notice you.
He said, you gotta work together. Like this is like a dance. You can't go out there and do your spot and not care about the other person. You got to make the other person look good for you to look good. The match itself has to look good. If it means that you're a super like experienced wrestler and you're wrestling with someone who has 3 moves, well, guess what? You don't go out there and do all your crazy moves just because you want to do them. The other person might not first take them well. It might look like shit. And somebody might get injured. So you work together at making the match itself a good match. That's what matters. You tell a story. Of course, we see Bubba ask Ace, like, why don't you dye your hair? Is she going to do it? And
well, there was a reason.
want Elijah.
He actually said to her, he said, one of your complaints or one of your comments was you don't want to just be considered just another blonde. He's like, so why don't you think about dyeing your hair? And I mean, we'll get into that, but spoiler, she did. Michelle McCool, we saw her spending some time with P Nasty and basically telling her, no raking of the eyes, no pulling of the hair, don't use the root. No. She basically told her no cheating, which I thought was fun. I mean, it's little stuff, but these are rookies that need that. And Chris Island, who I constantly want to write off, thinks that being a martial arts fighter in this case is the way. And he's been, 1 week he came out sort of as a boxer. He normally comes out as sort of like a Greco-Roman wrestler, and now he thinks it's martial arts. And Bubba talking to Elijah Holyfield is basically like, you're still Evander Holyfield's son. Don't be so reserved and quiet. Don't be Evander's son anymore. And I'm not going to spoil what happens here because a lot happens, but I will spoil this part. I'm a little confused, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
No, he said, like, make sure people are forced to notice you. Who the hell is Elijah? Like, most of the time he's like reserved and quiet, but he wants him to kind of explode, get out there, and it's like, this is me. My name is Elijah Holyfield. I'm more than just the son of. So we'll see if he noticed. If actually, not if he noticed, but if he does the job when he goes out there. And last but not least, Summer Sorrell, the promo, they tell her to be vulnerable. You got to show people that you do have real feelings, and which is true. But here's the thing. When it's a live promo, if it's too long, you'll lose people. And that's something she'll have to work on when we get to that match, which is right now, which is like the first match of the episode, Summer Sorrell versus Dani Sakowski. But she goes as the shooting star for this one with her little lucha mask. The first thing that I noticed is Summer coming out was smiling. She had a better babyface entrance than usual. Usually, like, the last time I saw her trying babyface, she was kind of in between. I was like, she kind of still looks bitchy. But this time, body language, yes, she was a babyface to me.
Can I go for a second? Because first things first is like, I really enjoyed the part where they were relaying to the judges what the challenges were going to be. So they pointed out that Summer's challenge was to cut a promo, and the Undertaker says that's her challenge, and Bubba's like, what? And Booker says nothing, but you can always read his body language tells everything. And Michelle goes, well, that's what she's not comfortable with. And Undertaker tried to warn her, but Michelle, she's like, I'm not going to be mansplained to. Is basically she shut him down, but what you just said was interesting because Summer I typed Summer comes out cocky and facey, and then they show her that Mama's there and all of that. But I really couldn't tell if she was a face or heel because she just came out looking cocky, and then the smile almost like the typical mean girl who remembers she's like, supposed to be running for prom queen kind of thing. So I didn't get that from the get-go. Now, then she grabbed the mic, and that's actually when they were like, oh, what's this? That's when the judges had the interplay. But from there, she cuts a promo. I'll let you pick it up because I have thoughts on the promo, but I'm sure yours are.
Oh, go ahead. Now, since you're talking, I'll add to it. Just to finish on what she looked like. Of course, she was not like top fire babyface, but I just thought it was better from the last time we saw her. At least she was smiling this time. The last time she still had that resting bitch face. Now she had the smile. So I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. But I mean, something that's not natural for her. Babyface, that's for sure. That's one of the things.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Anyway, I do want to touch on Dani. I mean, the lucha mask they went with was a little colorful for a heel. She still came in with her little moves, but she changed things up a little bit the way she walked in, and she did like a little extra, sort of roll to the corner after her superhero pose. I guess that's her idea of Healy, but she definitely changed things up. But basically, back to Summer. she basically gave a biography, and like all it was missing was the little Eddie Guerrero was my hero, the standard. I always wanted to do this since I'm a little girl, but no one believed in
The
me.
promo everyone does, and I can't hear anymore. This was my dream. Okay, we know it. Pretty much everybody who ends up in WWE, it was their dream too. Like,
Exactly.
oh, please.
Big shocker. And and we're just coming off. I mean, I know the timing wasn't necessarily purposeful, but they just gave a whole lot of indie wrestlers a tryout during SummerSlam week, including my friend, maybe yours too, Big Trouble Ben Bishop, and some others as well. I'm sure they had 30 people in there. But one thing that she said, two things that were poignant.
I was terrified. I doubted myself so much, and I thought, even if I got the opportunity to try out for the WWE, there was no point because I wasn't good enough. They wouldn't want me. But there's something that Michelle McCool always says that's really stuck with me, and that is failure isn't fatal. So now when I step into this ring, I'm still scared, but I've learned how to do it scared. And another big motivator for me is that my mom, who's my best friend, is always in the front row cheering me on.
Where's Mom?
Right there.
In the end.
Looks just like
all right.
A few years ago, my mom got diagnosed with cancer. And there was a point in time where when she first got diagnosed, I didn't know if she was going to make it or not, let alone make it here to watch me live out the biggest dream. So now whoever steps through that curtain, it doesn't matter, because I've left all of my fear behind it. And I'm doing that for her and for the girl that sat in the stadium for so many years thinking that she would never be good enough.
Woo! She got me. She got me. Good job.
One, she said Michelle McCool, being her coach, told her that failure isn't fatal. That was a good line. She pointed out, okay, I mean, it's low-hanging fruit, but it's true. She said that her mother had cancer and fought through it. And, there were times that she wasn't sure that she was going to live or die, and she'd have a mom. And now she's here, seeing her in the LFG arena. So while it was a color by numbers promo, and I thought sort of a cop-out, and if your challenge is to do a promo, do something original, at least she got to the heart of her heart, and it was a heart. I had a giant question for you, but I think that we both answered it. Like, is this what you think the challenge would be? We both sort of said no, not really. But did her promo change your mind at all?
Was she vulnerable? Yes. Did I get any pity for her and wanted to rally behind her? Yes. This part worked. The only thing is, it was so long and a little bit too crying.
Right.
It would have been a good backstage promo or even a vignette telling, the story of Summer Sorrell. Why is she doing this? Why is she, what's her goal? What inspires her mom? That would be a great vignette to present her as a talent, but it's not something you do live. When you are doing a promo live, it needs to be short and sweet. It needs to get to the point. And as a babyface, you need to rally people and get the hype and bring that fire. You want people to cheer and start clapping. It's like right from the start, the famous boop, boop, boop. All right, you want to get that from the start so the heel right away can go, shut up, stop clapping. And then you have them even before the ring bell, like the bell rings. But like I said, this was a good vignette promo, but not something you want to do before a match.
Agree so
she
much.
didn't even.
This should have been like an introduction thing.
Yeah.
And I know that this was the only chance, but there's coaches that she should have been doing like a Tommy Wildfire Rich. Somebody say something about fired up. I'll tell you why I'm fired up. No one believes in me. My mother almost died. I had to work my way and make sure that she was alive to get. I mean, that excitement of proving people wrong and doing it for her mom. She's right here right now, and she wants to show her that her daughter is gonna make it or whatever. Like, it needs to be fired up, not like because you don't want to get. You want people to clap. You don't want them to reach for a tissue or something and cry before a match. You want to get riled up.
So
good.
yeah,
So
that
both
that
the
and
pro and the schmo are on the same page about this.
yeah,
Remember that was that TV show, pros versus
yeah.
Oh, you're the pro, I'm the schmo.
Speaking of promo, the little promo Dani cut backstage was, like I said, short and sweet. We could tell she's a heel. It was good. She said everything she needed to say.
Good.
Yeah,
So good. But it's got a sob story. She comes in as the shooting star. She's working Dani's leg like she's freaking Dennis Condrey instead of a luchador. She says she's going, "Hi, mom," from the ring. She's working that whole thing into. My God, she takes Mama Sorrell's water from her, takes a sip on it, and then throws it on her like MJF to the little kid in the crowd with tequila. I mean, the judges were popping, and then she's jaw-jacking with mom. I mean, and then Summer, obviously this is work. You know, they knew it was good. She comes in and she makes it. This was fantastic.
She did a great job as a heel. You know, it's one thing I will say. If you're a professional wrestler, you're indie wrestler, and the water thing, unless it's somebody that you planted in the crowd, do not touch someone from the crowd. Do not grab their water. I mean, if you grab a beer, take a sip and then give it back and don't throw it. That's like, it's cool. But try to avoid that because you never know who's in front of you. Is it someone that's going to snap? Is it someone who's going to punch you right? You got to be careful with that. It works. And most of the fans are like cool because they're, you know, it's all about being involved in the show. So, but yeah, make sure, just be careful with that.
Or snuck tequila in disguised as water.
Yeah. And if you, like the hi mom thing was great, but it was like, hi mom. Like you couldn't really hear it. If you're a heel and you're going to do something like that, make sure you're in control of the match. Let's say you have an arm bar and the babyface is on the ground, like you're on top of the babyface, like twisting the arm, and you're in control. And then, you know, babyface is crying, babyface is suffering. Then you look up and say, hi, mom. You'll have so much more like of a reaction than just like throwing it out there just before the lockup or whatever. Like if you're going to say something to the crowd, make sure it's loud enough so everybody understands it so they can react, and make sure you are in control as a heel. When I talk about the little things you do between the moves, that's one of the things you could do. One thing that bothered me is they were outside for so long. I'm sorry, the 10 count would have been like roll in, roll out, break the count, argue with the referee, something. I just thought it was so long. And that
happened in 2 matches, and
yeah.
and there was a third. So 3 out of 4 matches, there were strange referee decisions.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And like you said, like Lucha, I was expecting maybe a little bit more rolls, a little bit more flipping kind of thing. And don't forget, if you're a heel and you do fancy stuff, you must hack very cocky. Shawn Michael, great example. Or any, like, look at the eel luchas. Like, they're going to do something flippy and then arms up and you know, kissing, send like kisses to the crowd or whatever. They'll do something to piss off people right after because they're so cocky and they're so like, I'm better than you kind of attitude. So that's something you have to remember as a heel. Yeah, the thing outside was too long. And she did use the El Grande El Americano gimmick, but she didn't show it to the crowd. When you use something like a weapon, make sure the referee doesn't see it, but everybody in the crowd sees it so they can go, hey, come on, ref, look what's going on. Because she grabbed it so quick, I had to rewind. It's like, what happened?
Right. I
and then I saw her.
Because the judges were saying it. They said, is she loading her mask? Is she going to do a loaded mask? But just I don't know. I agree with everything you're saying, but it was so different and so surreal that even though it's imperfect, just the effort, I just thought it was so creative and it seemed natural. Like if you're not a luchador but pretending you're a luchador, you would wrestle maybe like Dennis Condrey.
Yeah,
she didn't even wrestle like Bobby Eaton or Chad Gable as El Grande. I mean, she didn't even wrestle like Dani. So it was a little bit incongruous, but I loved it. And by the way, she did basically a flying headbutt for the win. So after all of that, and then she blows a kiss to mother, after all of the heel work and spilling mom water on cancer mom, and she wins by cheating. And I know that's the way it's booked or agented, or that's the way they decided, but imperfect or not, I freaking loved it. And chef's kiss to both girls, women.
Yeah, that was a great match. And I mean, the heel controls the pace, and I think Dani did a great job. She's definitely a standout for me in this season. The flying headbutt, though, it kind of looked like a flying forearm. Like, it was not like, I think it needed to be more. I feel she didn't hit target. Like, she kind of hit it should have been like a real big headbutt or something as clear as day. Like, always make things very clear. So yeah, that's one other thing. Like, I had to rewind and look. It's like, she didn't really hit her on the head, whatever. And Summer was not selling at the end much. Like, maybe she was selling more or shoulder, because like I saw, I felt like Dani didn't like hit the head, more of the shoulder kind of area. So, I mean, the selling kind of made sense, but since they were like so big on, she had something in her match, whatever, it's like, you have to stay down like you've been hit, like
in the head. Yeah.
Like,
that's what she was selling, as far as I could tell from my untrained eye, because I was insulted feelings, like that she was upset that her mom got disrespected and she couldn't do anything about it. So while that's a good part of the story, she should have been also grabbing her head and going,
oh yeah, grab your head, hold on to the body part that hurts.
Right.
I always say, if they can't hear you, you got to show them, and vice versa. So
Ring of Honor, that the refs would always bring in a bag of ice after every match. Like, this would have been a great time for the ref to bring a bag of ice and put her on her head, and then she could sell her face. But, I know it's not Ring of Honor and all that, but still, these are things that I would have hopefully thought of then, but I thought of while watching it to make it better. But I would say both of these women, despite I'm not exactly thrilled with the use of the challenge for Sorrel, with the choices that were made, I thought it was a whole lot of fun. But all of your criticisms are absolutely valid. I just enjoyed the whole thing. It was just so unexpected.
Yeah. So yeah, great job from both girls, and especially Dani, standing out as a heel, even with a mask. Yeah. And even if she's so small, she's so intense that you believe her. I can believe she can kick someone's ass, because she is so intense, and she swings those little arms like all the way back to the front, and she puts all her weight behind each hit. So it makes sense. It doesn't matter to me that she's smaller, because like, she puts in the work behind every hit.
Yeah, big Dani fan here also. And listen, there are people that I want to write off, and they're not letting me. Some of them didn't let me last year and won me over. Some of them aren't letting me this year. The only people I've written off so far is the woman we haven't seen for 3 weeks, and maybe that's fair, maybe it's not, and someone else that we haven't talked about yet, but I think we're about to.
Chris Island and our friend BJ Ray. Chris Island, very good promo as a heel. I felt he had so much more confidence as a babyface. He's a heel, definitely. I feel that's the way he needs to go. There's still work to do, but I felt like there was like something more as him speaking as a heel. He had more of a Brazilian jiu-jitsu kind of look this time, wearing a white belt. I don't know why you would do that. I laughed
said that. He goes, I'm a little worried.
My daughter has a higher degree of belt than he does.
I thought he said my 5-year-old has at least four stripes on her white belt.
Yeah. So I thought that was fun. His entrance, same thing, looked much more confident, it looked more realistic. It felt real, like more than usual, because
he came out like Steve Blackman. He came out just yeah. And I'm sure people, when they heard this, were thinking Chris Island's the one that you're running up. No, he's not letting me write him off. So I've spoiled what it is, but I'm gonna let you finish this because I've already
Yeah, I'll just finish with BJ's entrance, which was a very babyface entrance. He had fire, like, and I like also how the match started. It was a nice heel start, and again, more aggressive, more personality from Island. So yeah, I don't know what you thought about the entrance and the beginning of the match.
BJ Ray, he jumped into the crowd for them to, but he does that when he's a heel too. He acts exactly the same. The hand gestures are the same. The way he hops around, like when he's a heel, it's like I'm so great. I don't care what anyone pays attention to. But he only has one character. It's no different. Yep. He was dressed the same. And like the judges are popping for it. Oh, he went into the crowd and did like the Lambo leap. Big deal. He always does this. It's always the same. Why are they pretend? WWE loves people like this. They love Grayson Waller. They already have Logan Paul, and for all the things they're discussing about Logan Paul, he's really freaking good at wrestling and speaking. So, and he's young.
He said you want to punch him, like literally.
Yeah, but how many of those guys do you need? You got Ethan Page in NXT. He's perfect. So, I don't know. I just don't. I know that you always need more, and some people get hurt, and I'm just not sure that this guy is it. Anyway, the wrestling match was fine, as you said, but at some point, BJ Ray, you can just tell he stinks at certain things, like punches. He's
oh my
punches.
God!
And then his finisher was a borderline fourth grader's version of a people's elbow in slow motion. And then when he does the two passes running the ropes, he stops, changes directions, does two more, then changes directions again, and then does the worst people's elbow I've ever seen. I mean, the people's elbow was sort of a mockery of a finish to begin with, but it was supposed to be. This was a mockery of a mockery of a mockery of a parody. And the judges were like, their eyes were popping out of their heads. For Undertaker, that's saying something because his eyes always are already popping out of his head. and like Booker's like saying, or whoever, Bubba told him, I told him to run the ropes twice. Or Bubba and Booker,
Yeah.
Booker must have aged it. He's like, I told him to run them twice, just twice, not twice and change direction. And then Island did a roll up, so he got the win. So at least the shitty finisher wasn't a finisher. But Island, it looked like he was trying to pull the tights, but he didn't quite get to them. I didn't really care because
I didn't even see it. I feel like he did not hold the tights. From what the judges were saying, he was supposed to,
Right.
but I couldn't see anything. And like you said, oh my God, like BJ's running the ropes so slowly, like he's lazy. And in this match, it showed. Like he had bits of fire here and there, but not even close to whatever you need as a baby face. He wasn't working towards the crowd. When you're a baby face, it's cool to say, yeah, but when you say, yeah, you need to look at the crowd when you do it so they feel like they want to scream back at you and cheer for you. That was not happening. I'll give him that. What I really liked is that he used a wrestling takedown because he's a wrestler. I don't know why he's not putting more wrestling stuff into, like, remove those shorts and had more, like, look at Kurt Angle, for Christ's sake. Look at him. Like, model yourself on him. You're a wrestler. You're a damn wrestler. But the thing is, he has the problem that so many wrestlers have, whether you're in... Usually when you get up there, you don't see that problem. But a lot of people, you'll see that on the indies. They just want to be loved. They just want to be cheered. They just want to be popular, so they get like more people on their social media accounts and joining their Patreon and their OnlyFans. So whether they're heel or face, they just want to be loved and get those subscribers. So they're doing the job halfway, whether the babyface is a heel. As a heel, you must be hated. Babyface, you must be loved and bring energy. So these people, they're like easy to see. They're always a little bit in between. They don't give you exactly what you need. They give it to you, a little bit. It's not completely bad, but it's not up there where it's, supposed to be. And that's what I feel about BJ every time I see him wrestle. I'm like, they kept him for so long. Like I said, he was in the other tryout show that I've watched that. Like, I think I watched that show within less than a week because that was following one of my surgeries. So I was just laying in bed and I was watching that Roku show with WWE, and BJ was in there. And I don't see anything new. Sometimes I wonder, why do they spend so much time and money on certain people, hoping something's going to happen? But then after 2 years, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, send him on the indies, let him grow, let him figure it out by himself. And then maybe, keep his number, call him back if you feel he's done something. This guy needs to go in the indies. He needs to go like to GCW, any like smaller indies. He needs to work. He needs to work how to, work with a crowd. And because right now, big time, it's a no for me. No,
Me
after
too.
this match, it was like, no.
Listen, I would sign him up to the Endeavor Talent Agency, and I would get him on things like on American Gladiators, because the people want to see him hit with this. I'd put him on shows like Jackass. I would put him on that show that John Cena hosts.
What would
Wipeout.
be his name? What would be his name on American, like, asshole?
Well, he'd be a contestant. The Gladiators would be kicking his ass. So he could use whatever his real name is, or BJ Ray, for all I care. But I want to see him on Jackass. I want to see him on that Wipeout show where he's like, trying to jump onto giant rubber balls and not be hit by pendulums and fall into the water. I mean, things where like, bar rescue where somebody smushes a pie into his face because he screws things up.
It's dirty.
Yeah, like he can be one of those reality TV stuff, like The Situation, who for 20 years managed to stay on, and then like banks on that, and maybe one day becomes a wrestler too. But like you, I do see a TV personality. I just don't see a professional wrestler.
Yeah, same thing. Like I see, like, you know what? I think he would be a great manager. Like, put him a racket in hand, like a Jim Cornette. Like, he screams and like he's annoying around the ring. It's been a while since we had a manager like this.
Even more douchey. Make it a pickleball thing.
Pickleball.
Yeah, how all the people do.
Hey, it's very popular these days. So right now,
like those VR Apple glasses all the time. So he's taking calls, but you can't even tell he's taking a call. He's just with that.
Like Paul I met back in the day with his huge telephone, but it's like updated.
Right, yeah, he's got the pickleball thing, and whatever the douchey trend is of the moment, that's what he should be doing and using. And then
I think he would be great at it. He would be a great manager, I'm sure, because he can cut promos as well. So give him a guy that doesn't talk too good, and he could like go out there with a monster, and let's say like Arlen Lewis. And he's the one like blah 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 blah, like, and hides behind him because when somebody wants to punch him, that's something that would be great for BJ. It's not that he cannot be like a personality in wrestling, but as a wrestler itself, like now after 3 years since the first show I saw, like I don't know how long it's been. I don't even know if it's been 3 years. Maybe I'm. It's too much, but
it's been too.
Yeah, I see him. I see a Jim Cornette kind of douchey manager with him. That could work. Like
Johnny Polo.
Johnny Polo. Here you go. We don't have managers like that anymore. Like there's Paul Heyman, and that's about it. Like I think it's a lost art. Like I remember the Bobby Heenans and the Slicks, and even the ladies like Miss Elizabeth and Sherry Martel. Like that's one thing I really like about Scarlett these days. She reminds me of Scary Sherry a lot. I was like, yeah, bring that back. Like bring that back. That we need managers. They had so much when it's done right. Like yeah, BJ, be a manager.
Like I know we want to stray too much, but Chase University, the Dead Dog, those guys in Chase. I know one of them is Regal's other kid, but so what? Like Andre Chase is never going to be a professional wrestler, but he'd be a great manager. He can take bumps. He can occasionally be in a match, and just call him Coach Chase and put him in like and have him a whistle. So he's really annoying. You have a whistle, woo! And he has a clipboard and he bangs people over with the clipboard. I mean, it's so easy and it's right there. So I agree 100%. I thank God they brought back Kiana James doing sort of the York Foundation thing where, she's the businesswoman representing them. And I hope they let her actually go full businessy, wheeler dealer and making deals with, Heyman and whoever whoever the getting the upper hand on general managers because they didn't read fine print.
We're giving them too many free ideas, I believe, right now.
Well, you know what?
We're not getting paid.
You're right. If they start listening, then we'll stop. But you know what? They should, because I think we're the only podcast covering LFG, and I also think that Dose of Trust the only podcast covering Evolve. So they should return a little love to us, I think.
Speaking of love,
yes,
Haze, Jameson versus P-Nicety. I love Haze Jameson in that match. She had a great promo. I like that she was hiding her hair under the hoodie at first for that promo. And she went out and said, like, people, you smell bad. I can smell you from here. See, she was talking directly to them, like right from, and it was loud enough for everybody to hear, compared to what I was saying with the Dani situation with the mom. She went out there and got it like right away.
They really think I'm scared of a giant, smelly baby? No. P-nasty? More like P-you nasty. How about you come get your issue and while you're at it, maybe some deodorant? You keep saying I'm just another blonde. You blonde, she blonde, all these blah blah blondes. Well, guess what, Stinkerbell? Blonde's gone, and so is my tolerance for weak girls playing badass heels. I see right through your bull act, and after I'm through with you, so will everyone else.
Right from the start, you're like, she's the heel. I want to punch her. That little brat, like.
Who was this girl?
I know.
She had the small voice. We weren't sure who she was. She was wrestling. She seemed a little timid. I mean, I don't know if that was acting or this was acting, but this was fantastic. I mean, she's calling P Nasty smelly. She's not just another blonde. She's not even blonde. She's going to pose Nasty as a fake tough girl. She comes out wild, but not like uncontrolled. Like that first time when she looked like she was in a mosh pit out of control. She's telling the crowd they smell bad. I don't know what this character is doing. P Nasty comes out smiling and pigtails, and that's right. P Nasty was fine, and she, as usual, she did everything right. But Haze Jameson was going full Chelsea Green on stars. She's like, no, look at her. She's huge. I'm not fighting her. I'm not getting it. It's not fair. I don't have to. I didn't lose.
Chicken shit heel. Heel should always be scared of the babyface, whoever's standing in front. Like, not necessarily like, I mean, if you're Drew McIntyre and you're like 6'7", like, I get it. You might not run away from somebody, but even him, like, when somebody's like, you want to come and fight? It's like, nope, he's gonna leave. Always, you have to get away from those situations when you're a heel, either by being really scared, being a chicken shit, or you're like, no, I'm not fighting you. Like, I don't have any time to lose, whatever. You give a reason. You're not the one, like, looking like the one who wants to fight, who wants to challenge people and beat people and stuff. Like, there's a purpose behind everything you do as a heel. So, oh yeah, she was like a big mouth. She had great facial expressions. Like, what I love about Panina, she worked the crowd. She looked at them. She like extended her hand to the crowd for them to say, come with me on this ride. Let's do this together. That is very babyface. This is something you need to do. People in the crowd need to be, like I said, like on a ride with you. They're in this match with you. They're not fighting, but they're behind you, and they're holding your hand through this battle. And I felt she was definitely giving that. It's like, I saw her as a baby face. The only thing I was not too fond of is like, I was really hoping that she would have a different gear. Same gears. Like, I wish she had something different, maybe a little bit more colorful, because pigtails are cool, like they're baby face, like, but you need to, don't have picky tails to just have picky tails. Like have something
like,
that
I'm
matches.
a little girl. Like she's
like
her gimmick isn't I'm a little girl. So I mean, it was. I don't know.
no, but as a baby face, it could be. It could be that she's that big, massive woman, but she is sweet and she likes cute things and she's like bubbly. That could work. There's a way to sell it. But just the piggy tails, no, you need the gear that matches the idea as well. So that's one thing like I would have changed. One thing I've noticed also, and it happens like I've mentioned it before. Every time they do a lockup with a push, the person who takes the bump just rolls. Take the freaking bump and sell it like you've been hit by a fucking train. Like they just roll and they're like, oh, no. It's like, you got to go like, oh my God, what was that? Take that bump, belly flap, like the roll back on your belly, like a fish, like do something to sell how strong your opponent is. If you just roll, it's like, no, make sure, take that bump with a nice bang, like a sound. So it's something I see like every time they do the bigger person pushes the small person and they just roll back. It's like,
Well, she
that
sort of did the same thing at the end during the finisher. The coach saying, stay down, you got to sell it. I mean, listen, that's important and that's fine tuning, but she got pulled in by her hair because she was trying to evade the match. At some point, P. Nicety tries to go for a moonsault off the second rope, which was, the coaches were going crazy. And then Haze did a nut shot, which I think Booker said, is that a tube shot or something? And they're like, it's like, I don't know. The whole thing was tons of fun. And like Jameson is running over away and she's trying to evade P. Nasty or not P. Nicety. But she, at some point she runs back in the ring and then she does like the chicken shit baby, heel thing where she is running the ring. It looks like she's going to run to try to escape from the outside, but she turns around because she's going to try and kick you or hit you when you come into the ring. But instead, she runs right into a spear. Once again, P. Nicety, a better spear than Jey Uso. And that was when... And yes, Haze did forget to sell that she was injured after and that she was knocked out. But I did not know who this woman was. I knew exactly who P. Nicety was. I thought, I feel like P. Nicety, or if there's like 10 points to be scored on every event, I think P. Nicety starts with 4 before anything even starts. I just feel like this thing is so fixed for her, and she's not the only one. There's a couple of other people who I think are getting extra points in before doing anything. But I don't know. We'll talk a little bit more when the judges talk. I think the listeners, especially if they watch the show, probably know where I'm going to go with this. But I love the hell out of this, but I love the hell out of this 100% because of Haze Jameson. Not that it doesn't take two to tango. It absolutely does. So not 100%, but 80% was Haze Jameson and her character work, which was so unexpected. I mean, in the ring, it's 50-50, of course.
Well, here's the thing. The more, how can I explain that? If the heel does a great job at being hated, the babyface has almost like nothing to do to get the people behind. If the heel is so annoying, people will automatically be behind you. It happened with Dani. It's happening with Haze. Why did Penina did such a great job? Why did Sorrell do a good job? It's because the heels were so strong that they didn't have to do much. Yes, in most of the matches, we'll say it's 50-50, but when it comes to attitude and get the crowd either behind or against you, a heel sometimes will do 80% of the work because the babyface there's nothing. If they have good fire and they look at the crowd and they can get a little bit clapping or whatever, like the heel, most of the time will start them from being so good at being hated. So that's something that definitely happened in this match. The only difference is that Penina was so much better as a babyface if we compare to Sorrel, because she was looking at the crowd, she was screaming at the crowd, she was talking to them, she was selling, screaming to get, sympathy. And also A's, what I really like, being smaller and more of a cheating, conniving heel. She cheated every time she got the over on the match. It was the only way she could get over on somebody who was so much bigger and powerful. So that makes sense. Even when she was, and one big move, she was out. She was complaining while selling, so that was great. But at the end, yeah, she should have shown more pain, and even maybe wait for the referee to pick her up. Like, help me. And then someone gets her out because she can't get up. That's little things I would added. But overall, yeah, that was a great heel baby match, definitely. Both women really look great in that match and definitely did their job of changing attitude, getting out of their comfort zone. Penina being a heel and Ace being the, little happy baby. Definitely for now, we know that Ace is a heel. If they want to push her, that's the way to go, because it brought something out of her that we didn't see before. And it looks so natural. There's money there, definitely.
Yeah, and if she can't end up being a fully fledged wrestler, she could also be a manager with that exact same personality.
Mm-hmm.
The chaos that she could cause. I mean, Jimmy Hart used to run around, and the faces chasing him around, and then they go into the ring and they run straight into John Tenta or something,
Yeah, that could work with her. Yeah, I see her going in the ring, crawling between the legs of the wrestlers.
Yeah,
the other one, whoop, big clothesline or something.
Absolutely.
And then we are at the main event of the show, which is featuring Drake Morreau as a babyface-ish. Yeah, babyface, I would say.
Sure.
And Elijah Holyfield as one big, intense machine that either is a heel or a baby. He's kind of a Brock Lesnar-ish. You just like to see him, destroy people, heel or face.
I know you're not allowed to say his name anymore, but
are we? They mention him they do mention him on TV, and they I think it's Paul Heyman 2 weeks ago was talking about the Beast Incarnate and the
but I'm not talking about him. the person that I compare Elijah Holyfield to when he comes out because of his size is Chris Benoit, who I think is a smaller version of Brock Lesnar. He just looks like he's barely contained menace. And
I was going to say he's ready to kill, but that's but with Chris Benoit, not the right choice of words, I would say. He looks
it's just the closest comparison. If someone else can find
I know
about 5'9", but 235 of solid muscle. It is a physical,
that intensity too,
brawler wrestler. Let me know who they are, because the only one I can think of is Ronnie Garvin, and Ronnie Garvin didn't come out intense like that. Ronnie Garvin never felt scary just by looking at him.
So we had a good promo from Holyfield, and Drake, to me this time, he has that babyface song, but has we've seen him mostly as a heel. Now he was more cheery. I think the song was more, fit better with him being the babyface. What I really liked about the match, they had a good, strong lockup. So right from the beginning, that, these guys are the real deal. This is going to be a fight. And just from that one move, the lockup is so important. Get your lockup right. They went into a good, simple chain wrestling. I would have, do the chain a little bit slower just so we could see better what they were doing. But besides that, I mean, it was good. There was a good tackle with the heel being pissed that he's the one who took the fall, which, is simple stuff, but always works. And then anything from the entrance or beginning of the match that you noticed?
Yeah, I mean, one, I agree with you that they both were bringing the intensity right from the beginning, which is what they were told to do. And yeah, Drake came in as a face, but he sort of got to serious right away, which was a good transition, which I wasn't necessarily expecting. He's another one that I've been wanting to ride off, but can't. And for the first time, I don't know if it was the camera work or the Elijah smaller than I think, but Drake Morreau actually looked huge here. He actually looked like not just a big guy, but he looked like a big man, a big wrestler. And you know, that was it was a good visual. But yeah, aside from that, no, let's get straight into the match, because I know that you're gonna have a lot to say about it, and so am I, and I have questions for you.
One thing that I like is that one part they went, there was a ref break, and right away, like, the heel hit the babyface and went into the heat. Like, he pretended to, like, broke whatever Hole was doing in the ropes. Okay, listens to the ref, but right away, boom, that's so eelish, and then starts the heat. It worked great, and they went, like, kind of real fast to the finish, but the heel was so overconfident that it got him. Like, all it needed was a distraction by the referee who was talking to him, and then whoop, 1, 2, 3. And that's a good way to start a feud where one of them, especially the heel, gets, like, pissed because he's got beat so fast, but because of, you know, his own actions. And then they went into that huge brawl.
Can we take a break? And can we take a second and just cover the match and then do the aftermath? Because it's like they're almost like two entirely different things. So I agree so much. I mean, first of all, Holyfield did the 2 gut shots, and he must have listened to you, because they were great. And then he was doing a whole series of punches, and the referee intervened, and Holyfield basically ran around him and delivered an awesome shoulder tackle while Morreau was sort of prone but standing in the corner. So it was a standing shoulder, almost like pounce, but there was nowhere to pounce to because he's in the corner. And that was so effective. Then the ref intervened again, and Elijah Holyfield was staring the ref down, and then Drake took advantage of it with a small package. But I only saw the ref count to 2 and kick out, and then the ref ran out. So it's almost like it was like the ref was afraid of Elijah, was trying to teach him a lesson, but didn't want to stick around to get his comeuppance. The judges didn't know what was going on. They're yelling, "What was that? What was that?" And was that the story, or did I miss? You know, because I mean, normally the ref goes down, so you hear boom, but then the count is his hand. His hand only went down twice. It was the 2. So if that was a story to start a feud on a wrestling show, fantastic. But if he was trying to actually teach Elijah Holyfield a lesson that's not how we do it here, kid, or at least not at this stage, then I don't know if that's the ref's place or not. I really don't. But no, it didn't seem like the judges were expecting anything. So that's part 1, and then we have the brawl. But tell me what you think happened in part 1, and then we'll go straight to afterwards, because it seemed like it was part of the story I was outlining and planned, but they made it seem like it wasn't, and I'm confused.
Well, the referee I didn't question, because I was like, maybe it's the camera, because maybe he went down and kind of the same time went 1. So I was like, maybe that's what happens. Maybe it's editing. So I didn't question that too much, because I thought, like, okay, so maybe the story is, you know, the overconfident heel, and, you know, that gets the better of him, blah, blah, blah. I thought some of the shots might have been a little stiff. I was really questioning, like, I was like, I hear that, you know, real shots are and I was like,
right?
Both of them, but Elijah a little bit more. And I feel I could see Drake getting mad, like, slowly, like, getting there. I was like, I think he's maybe laying him in a little bit too much. But I wasn't sure, because, again, is it editing? Is it what? But I was like, when you hear the shots, when you look at them, and you look at the face of Drake, you're like, oof, I feel these shots are not, like, completely worked. So yeah, it's like he's maybe he's a little bit stiff. Like, it's hard to go from boxing to wrestling, and maybe he's just, like, a little bit too much in there.
The first people that came out, so after the skill of the win and the ref boogies out, Elijah Holyfield, you know, basically goes for a takedown on Drake Morreau, and it's a brawl, but it's a wrestling brawl. No one's actually hitting each other. They're just sort of, you know, which could also be a real fight, because no one really hits each other in a real fight too.
But here's the thing that I've noticed: why did the babyface who won the match do the takedown on the heel. That to me didn't make sense. And that's why I was like, maybe like those shots were a little too stiff and he got pissed. And then like, he's like, fuck it. And then he grabbed him, because otherwise it doesn't make sense, especially if the babyface won the match on top of it, that he jumps on the heel and like tackles him down.
It was just so
that doesn't make sense.
Well, that you're right. It is weird that Drake Morreau, after the win, he's the one who would do it. So yeah, there was probably something to that. But then it's weird because the first people to run out are the refs. Now, obviously in storyline, the refs come out first, then security. But these guys aren't real security either, or maybe they are. I mean, I recognize them. I recognize them from Evolve, and you know, it's not like you know in AEW where you got the two real security guys or the ECW security guys who still do that, you know, stuff for MLW. You know the difference between them and the wrestlers. But it was you know, talent security. It was refs and whatever coming out, and like Drake Morreau like goes out and does a splash, and the security catch him. So like that seems like something that's choreographed. So the whole thing, you know, seemed like a work to me. But then they're acting like a shoot, and Elijah's acting like he's the one that's angry. But what you just said makes 100% of sense. But it seems like Drake was angry. Now it's possible they're both angry. It's just that Drake, you know, acted first on it. But Elijah's acting like he was wrong, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, some of it looks stiff, but they were told to be stiff, and I didn't see anything particularly unusual except for the refs count, and the rest of it just seemed like choreographed to me. But the emotions seem to be real. I mean, they settled it down. Undertaker said to I guess he talked to Drake. He's like, listen, I'm not mad about the intensity though. And Bubba, you know, went immediately.
It was a LFG chant for the first time, and people like in the crowd really got into it. So, I mean, to start a feud, like I myself as a fan was like, oh yeah, I want to see this. This is great. Like I want more of this. Like I just got like a little peek. The match was quick. And then they get into this big fight. Like I said, big life's way to start a feud. Easy, simple to understand. It's just that the way they sold it after, I understand for TV reality purposes, that makes sense. But you know what's sad? We'll probably not know next week what's going on. And we'll get to 8 other contestants that we didn't see for the last 2 episodes. And we're like, what happened with Elijah and Drake? We'll know in 3 episodes, probably.
They hugged it out. Don't worry. They hugged it out.
Yeah, they hugged it out. I thought actually Elijah had a great attitude about it. It's like, hey, you know, it happens, and the crowd was into it, and I was like, okay, good. Like he's looking at the positive side of everything. If you know something bad happened, he has a great attitude about it. Like, so okay.
I guess, but like Drake just seemed like he seemed not concerned at all. So he's like, hey, you know, how'd I do, coach? And the coach is like, hey, you brought the intent. So it's not like Drake wasn't reacting like, you know, there was anything. But I guess at 6'7" or whatever, if someone comes at you, you're probably not too afraid of them. You know, even if it's Elijah Holyfield. I mean, he was an NFL or college D1 offensive lineman. And while Evander Holyfield is his father, it's not like Elijah Holyfield won any silver medals in boxing. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. We'll probably never know. Or maybe it'll be, you know, after one of them gets released,
3 episodes,
you know,
we'll know.
Does the shoot interview. So we get to the judges. And so Bubba votes for Haze. All of the other 3 vote for P. Nicety, Panina. And I have to be honest with you. It's not that P. Nicety didn't impress me. I mean, listen, Summer Sorrell did a good job. It was nice. We all know she's not winning this competition, but she's progressing. She's the one who next season on LFG season 3, if they stick to this format, will be in a higher position. But this to me was Dani or Haze. And the fact that Dani didn't get a single vote or Haze didn't get a vote, if Dani got all 4 of the votes or Haze got all 4 of the votes, or it was 2-2 and there needed to be a tiebreaker or something. But P. Nicety getting 3 of the votes, I mean, the only would have, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, she did get outside of her comfort zone. Yes. But why did she stand out as a babyface so much? Is because the heel against her was fucking perfect.
Yeah.
And that really bothered me. And I was like, why? It's like they want to give a point to Michelle. What's going on? Because I'm sorry, this was all A's. Like, I don't understand why she didn't get the point. And one thing that really is starting to bother me, they keep voting for their own wrestlers. I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, she was good, but she was not as good as A's. She's not okay. She's not in your team or whatever. And I mean, I take these two as an example. But when you watch all the episodes, they all say, "I got to give it to my guy. Got to give it to my girls." Like, yeah, but the other one was better. Are you? I feel like the coaches should not be the judges. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and Taker didn't even vote for his. Dan.
And I felt that Drake, for the first time, stood out. He worked like a big man. He looked intense. He up his game a lot in this match. And I mean, yeah, and they kind of mentioned it, but
yeah, there wasn't much drama in the men's. I mean, Booker voted for Chris Island. Chris Island didn't deserve the vote, but Chris Island was good. I mean, he
did. Yeah, definitely better as a heel.
Yeah, I don't see Chris Island necessarily. I mean, this is terrible, but I don't really see him as a WWE wrestler right away. But I could easily see him like a TNA or MLW, and working the indies and working, and like after 6 years working his way to WWE, doing that. I mean, and while it doesn't sound like a compliment, it is, because he's in the Performance Center on an NIL contract. It's not like he started as an indie wrestler. So
but he needs experience as a wrestler in front of crowds, he needs to push that side of the business. And I feel in a few years he might be like great and stand out. But right now, being in such a close environment with the same people, he's not going to progress. That's one. The Performance Center is a great thing and is a bad thing at the same time, because they're so well taken care of that they don't have to either think or struggle as much as someone on the indies who's trying to stand out, and they have to. Yeah. Like they're in a polished, protected environment where they're not asking themselves what they're going to eat next week, or can they make it to their car payments, and I mean, great for them. But when you're put in a situation where you end up and there's like 30 people in the crowd, you're like, okay, how can I work this match, without killing myself? Because there's 30 people. But, these 30 people paid their hard-earned money. What can I give them so they have a great time and they feel their day was worth it? It's all like things you have to think about as an indie performer. And I feel that's something that every wrestler should benefit from. And, you see things differently and you learn on the job. And as much as you can be taught, as much as you could be explained, living it is something else. And I feel like, it's when they just come out of the Performance Center, I feel there's that grit, there's that edge that's missing, and it's very homogenized. And they have to find a way to kill that problem. And being involved with indies, whether it's like the indie program that I forgot about the name, but they need to send program. The ID program. They need to send those guys here and there to learn on the spot and figure it out. And because then after, when there's a problem that happens, like a fuck up or whatever, you're quick enough to think and just cover it. But if you're so protected right from the start, these are things you can't really, not that you're not going to learn them, but you're not in a state of panic where you have to figure it out.
Right. Listen, if you can't afford your gym membership, you can work out at the Performance Center. If you don't have money for food, there's always catering there. Maybe it's not breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you could make it breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you wanted to. there's things like that. I'm sure they give you plenty of WWE gear that's designed to be worn out, but you can wear your sweats and your gym clothes outside. They're in Orlando. It's summer all year round. So there's some, I'm sure that they have housing assistance, maybe not in rent, but this is where the places are to live. This is the rent. A lot of the talent live here. A lot of the time have lived there.
Yeah.
This one, have to leave early, but they're still on the lease, so they're looking for someone to assume the lease. The landlords are probably, not completely dickish because they know that they've got a pipeline.
They have a WWE contract thing with,
Right. So there's all sorts of stuff like that. So you're 100% right. But, two people, Michelle and Taker, voted for Drake. All right. They seem to be voting for the same people this time, but I have no issue with them voting for Drake. Bubba voted for Elijah. I have no issue for that either. And that is his guy. I'm still a little bit confused about that whole thing. Fine, whatever. I will live with that. Nobody voted for BJ Ray. I'm not confused about that at all. Nobody should have. Booker and Taker are tied with 3. Bubba and Michelle have 2. Yeah. So, and they showed us what's going to happen next week. A little bit of a preview. I don't remember if there's a guest next week, so we know there won't be any tiebreakers next week. And I think next week is just a continuation of this week's for different contestants, but they did tease that there's maybe another fight coming with Anthony Luke and Harlem Lewis. So I don't know.
I also saw Xena, so I don't know if we're finally going to get the story with Tatiana would happen. So I was like, but they didn't mention that. So I was like, maybe it would be great to say, like, we'll finally know what happened, like, or a glimpse of, like, you heard me. No, I didn't blow something. Nothing. I mean, if you want people to watch this, you got to give us something. Because honestly, if I was not doing this show, I don't know if I would like go out of my way to watch it, because it's interesting. I like to see people progress and learn, and these are things I can bring to the girls I help or whatever. But as a fan and as TV viewer, like, I'm not, I don't even think about it if, like, because you didn't give me something to tune in for the following week, or when you did with Tatiana and Xena, whoops, not even a mention, not a peep, nothing. So I was like, okay, what am I watching this week? Then this thing, be a face if you're ill or whatever. And then the following week, it's kind of the same. And yeah, but at least I will say that this week, though, a few people like were able to stand out, or at least show that they have something when you put them in the position to do whatever they're comfortable with, which are like Chris Island being a heel, Haze being a heel, and Dani also being a heel of her face. She's great at both, really. So that's something, as a booker or promoter, that you want to have. That's someone you want to have in your team. Whatever you need, she's there. She could be a heel, she could be a face, and she's going to do a great job, no matter the assignment that's in front of her.
I agree 100%. That thought, there's LuFisto. So I thought it was a very entertaining episode. I think if more episodes were like this one, then it would be a better viewer experience for those of us who are not, wrestling fans, and to the extent that anyone can listen. If you're a hardcore wrestling fan, you like, obviously you and I see some of the same things. You see with more keen details and the things that I probably will never see, but we notice a lot of the same things. And so, but for people like us, loosely us, that love wrestling, I've been watching wrestling for a long time, it's great. Especially if you're interested in following the people and seeing the progression. But again, I'm not sure that it's quite the tough enough type of episodic soap opera reality TV formula that's been so successful in the past. And I don't know if they should change it or not. I think they should. I think they can preserve it. I do think one of the mistakes was having it be some of the same people, but I get that this is part of an investment in their advancement to make it to WWE, and everything else is secondary. So I get that. It's just, you have to do something to make the television more entertaining, though. And
Well,
that's
here's one thing. Like I said, one thing I would do is separate the coaches from the judges, so they can't vote for their guy, whatever. So it's different eyes looking at what's going on, and I would show more. Like as a wrestling fan, I want to see more of Undertaker teaching. I want to see what like he tells them, what he shows them. Like Booker's really good at getting into the action and placing, arms and legs and whatever. You got to do this like this. Like I want to see this. We never see it. We see the match when it's done, but I'd like to see how do you get there? That's for a fan. It's like, yes, you're opening up the curtain a little bit more, but right now they're doing like Unreal. So whatever at this point, who cares? But I think it shows that there's a lot more work behind the match that like regular people think that there is. Like so why don't they show that? Like I want to see this. What did Michelle say to P Nasty, to Panina, to change her as a babyface, and it actually worked, that she worked the crowd and did her job. And again, I don't think she should have won, but still she did a great job. Like what was said before, these are things we don't see, and I think they're very interesting, but we don't see that, and I think it would make for better TV.
Yeah, I'd also like to get more Michelle's personality, because she's obviously clever and funny.
Mm-hmm.
But she's so deadpan, she's so quiet that, I'd rather see Mickie James there, only because she's just a more animated presence. But if we got to know Michelle better and spend, I think that, like, I'd get over that. I mean, but I sort of feel a little bit what Booker feels, is that, like, the fix is sort of ended, like her and Undertaker are on the same page. I mean, he didn't even vote for his own girl and instead of Panina, Panina had a perfectly good appearance, but again, I don't think that she did anything to distinguish herself. And like you said, Haze was the star of that
She
one.
did the job. Yeah. She looked great because her heel was great.
Well, we were just repeating.
Fantastic, I will say.
Yeah. Well, I'm just repeating myself time and time again.
Yeah, we are.
So we're probably going over the actual length of the actual TV show itself. So with that, if anybody wants to follow me, you can find me on the X at dose_evil or at IcarusFellND. If you want to hear my podcasts, which are on Wrestling Soup Network, but aren't on Wrestling Soup Prime, you can go to Garden of Thought, hit subscribe. You'll generally get 2 to 3 shows a week. And my shorthand is that 2 of them are a little bit like the Joe Rogan show, without the celebrity, without the embrace of conspiracy, without the other broness culture, and certainly without the success, but the variety is similar. And the other is with my good friend, Mr. Thomas from Major League Wrestling. LuFisto's friend too. Now they're friends. And we talk to people in wrestling, generally about non-wrestling stuff, but wrestling comes up as well. And actually, I'm going to have some guest co-hosts this month because Thomas is off. I also spoke to PJ. Can't tell you what he's doing because some of it might be a wrestling secret, but some of it is just typical PJ, which is not typical for any other person that you've ever known, or at least I've ever known. You can also find me on the Wrestling Soup and Friendos feed, which is related to the Wrestling Soup feed, for a dose of chocolate. We continue to wish White Chocolate a speedy recovery, and Marie Shadows has been co-hosting that show with me when Don Reynolds can't, and while White Chocolate is out. So thank you to Marie. And I think we'll be doing that live tomorrow night on the Wrestling Soup Discord after Wrestling Soup. And that's every week. So if this show isn't published until after Thursday, I mean, that's generally our showtime anyways. We do it a little bit after Wrestling Soup, the prime show, the Thursday night, 7:30 to 9:30 show ends. All right, LuFisto, tell them about your stuff and let's get back to work, you and I.
You can find me on X at LuFisto, and on Instagram at Fisto Arts and Pro Wrestling. It's facebook.com/LuFisto. And check out also Women's Wrestling Syndicate, which is my all-female promotions. We have female referees, announcers, interviewers, wrestlers, and agents in the back. So look us up on YouTube. We have a bunch of matches there. Like, click, subscribe, and give us some likes. And I think that's it for this week. Of course, check out the Wrestling Soup with our buddy Anthony Thomas and Joe Numbers. Always cool and entertaining. We love the Wrestling Soup. Give him some love. Follow them. Subscribe to their Patreon and all good Wrestling Soup and not scoop. Wrestling Soup stuff. And come on the Discord too. We chat, we have fun, all kinds of stuff. Wrestling Soup is the place to go. It's the team you want to be part of. And we are proud to be with the Wrestling Soup, the Wrestling Stew. Bud them, fry them, put them in the stew. And we'll see you next week for episode 7 of LFG. Let's fucking go.
Stay evil, my friends.
Follow Wrestling Soup on Twitter at Wrestling Soup. Like and subscribe to Wrestling Soup on YouTube, Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify. With Snail